something that looked quite juicy.
Oh right, I was going to show you the P900. Sorry, the P1000's quality of camera of the photography it can take. I mean,
Whoa.
this is from a video. Let me know when I'm presenting it.
Yeah, you're presenting it all right. It's enormous. These used to be on my 6-foot screen a couple of centimeters. Now they're occupying, you know, one sixth of my screen. It's just the difference is chalk and cheese.
Well, the elevation here was about 50 feet. Now, this area here that I'm moving my cursor across is actually some buildings that are nearer to these buildings, and this in the foreground is the sand dunes. And what we're actually doing is looking down into the town of Barrow. So the real small stuff. I'll show it you on Google Earth. So that's these buildings here, in and around here, and then a bit further up the actual street houses that are right next to the estuary, etc. So I mean, these are just normal everyday houses that we're seeing. I'm going to show you I took a screenshot just now, so I'm just going to do some contrast on this to bring out the imagery. Look at these houses here that you're seeing. Down to the houses in front of these buildings. This whitey area here will be where the estuary is going to be between the two land masses. And this area in the foreground is obviously the sand dunes. So because my elevation was about 50 feet above sea level, it allowed me to get over these sand dunes, but still 80 feet should be missing. We shouldn't, you know, when we're looking at these buildings here, you shouldn't see 80 feet. So none of these buildings alone.
Just before you move across, the building that's on the right-hand side, yeah, that's probably about how big these buildings in the background, or you know, what we're going to call the background, were on the P900. Would you agree?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the quality is it's chalk and cheese. I mean, it's absolutely sensational.
I agree.
I love
Absolutely
it. I love filming with it.
Just so much clearer, so much more detail, so much more depth. Everything about this is infinitely better than the P900. It's just chalk and cheese.
Sorry, and also I know I presented this before, but can I present? So this is the video looking at those buildings just on a clear day with no refraction. So this is just panning across, looking at the buildings of Barrow, seeing down into the houses that are, you know, beyond this landmass in the foreground, which is the sand dunes. So there's the buildings. There's buildings of Barrow, and it really is. It's just a beautiful sight, beautiful video. But on the next video, when we get the refraction going on, and this is the same elevation, absolute same camera, same height, everything was identical, same location. I think I'm around about 30 feet along the wall, so I'm just a little bit out of where I took the video from, but only about 30 feet. Same elevation though and everything, but look at the difference. You can't make anything out beneath, anything in that very critical zone here when there's got this refraction going on, just gets blurred out. You don't know what's what. You can't see anything. And we know by virtue of looking at the previous video where we're looking down into the houses that were down here, we know that it can't be this area here where they would say, oh, well, that's the middle part, that's the curvature of the Earth. Well, that can't be true, because we've just on the other video that where my cursor is now is where those buildings are, and beneath that is the sand dunes.
Yeah,
so this obstruction has to be.
This is atmospheric. I mean, when obviously you haven't been around recently, Ranty, but we've been talking a lot about the angle. But we've got to bear in mind the aperture and the zoom capabilities, i.e., how much you can resolve. So you can make things that were previously in the P900 in this. Let's just for round numbers say that these buildings were 100 pixels high. Well, now they're more like 500, 600, 700 pixels. Obviously a lot bigger, which means your camera can zoom in. Therefore, the diffraction limit of your camera is larger, it's bigger, it's greater than the P900, so you're going to see further. Now, all that's taken into account when you look at something from the P900 at 31 miles as opposed to 18 miles, which would be something like the Isle of Man from St. Bees, because then you are on the diffraction limit of that camera when you're looking at the bottom of that island at 31 miles. but you're not going to get anywhere near the diffraction limit at these distances. So all of this interference is atmospheric only. And you're right, just by virtue of the fact that you can see to the bottom of it on a clear day, or whatever the atmospheric conditions permitted on the day that you took the previous video, which hopefully you'll go back to in a minute, it proves it instantly. You know, you can see to the bottom given the atmospheric conditions or the right circumstances. And
then what's important is when we come across and we're looking at this sort of land here. This is land that I can show you in the other video. You actually see right down to the bottom. So if I pause it there, this mast that's on the edge, we clearly see it in the next video. It's much clearer, obviously, but we see the land going all the way down. And whereas normally the balls would say this floaty land is being loomed, this is their argument. This is looming land, you know. So whenever we see in Anthony's video, for instance, when he saw the Isle of Man, we had looming that was going on in their opinion. We said, no, we're just seeing it and we're getting a reflection underneath. Well, this is a perfect example of that, because on the next video, when we see the same area of land, I'll just pan across to it in a moment and get there. Here we go. So I'll just pause it in a second. When we see it, there we go. So there's the same area of land. There's the mast. There's where was the floaty land that was here. But obviously we're seeing right down to it, and we're seeing actually a car down here, or a truck. So yeah, this floaty land is no longer floaty land. We can just see it, and it's a clear day. So the argument is, do we believe our eyes when it's clear? Is this actually looming, or is it just?
Oh my God, you got more zoom! Oh my God, it's a pickup truck.
It is a pickup truck, yeah. I'll show it you in a second when it refocuses.
So I thought, oh, that's as much as zoom as you're going to get, and then suddenly the car comes into detail. You're like, whoa, this is such an amazing camera. This is like 15 miles, right? That's 15 miles away, that car.
Yeah, it's about 15 miles, yeah.
That's unreal. So, is no one else really impressed with that? Is it just me?
There's the truck. But yeah, I think the most important part, forget the zoom, is the land. I mean, this is floaty land with the mast on that I've just showed you before. But clearly, all that inferior mirage was hiding, like all this land down here was hidden behind the inferior mirage. It would have hidden the truck if the truck was down there, because it was the same height, same tide height, everything.
See the houses on the left? You can see the roof and the chimney.
Yes, you can, down here.
That's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I'm going to go with that, Nathan. I'm going to back you up on that. That is fantastic, isn't it?
In a second, you zoom in even more on the car. Just see if you can catch it when you zoom in even further in a second.
It might be previous to this. I might have decided not to do that because this was freehand. So when you go into that extra zoom, it loses focus pretty quickly if you're not steady enough.
You're not on the focus lock.
Is this from 50 foot again, Ranty?
Yeah, this is from 50 foot. So I needed 2 observations of the same height to compare the 2 videos from, because one had a massive inferior mirage running through the whole image. And this is basically saying, okay, well, the inferior mirage that's hiding these buildings down here can only be atmospheric. It cannot be the water. It can't be the curvature of the earth that's doing that. That's it. That was the whole point of this video, was to show the 2 side by side and say, well, this is what you see on a clear day. And when you've got the inferior mirage that people say, well, the globers say this is where the curve starts. No, not at all. No, it's just blockage, atmospheric blockage. So I want to try and kill them with that argument, because, you know, observations like this is what's going to do it. You know, you can show them it on a clear day, and they say this is looming. Nonsense.
Excellent. Thank you very much for sharing that, Ranty. Absolutely awesome, as always. More so than normal, actually. Got to be honest. More the camera than you, maybe. Have you got a tripod yet?
No, but it's really difficult to try and use a tripod with the kind of work I do. You know, I'm up and down all the time, up and down, getting elevation heights. I haven't got time to faff around setting up on a tripod. You know,
heartbreaking
it's all about grabbing the data on the go. You know,
that focus lock. You figured that one out.
Yeah, I figured that.
Oh, that was a bit much.
But then again,
two stabbings in the back after complimenting your work. Sorry, Ranty. This is actually an exceptionally level horizon, considering it was freehand. Amazing, in fact. Again.
Absolutely.
Kudos, Ranty.
Ranty the curve slayer.
Playing the curve.
Photography skills.
I was there again.
You'd almost have to get a reverse tripod so that you could have like an elevator to lower and raise your camera so that you wouldn't have to dislocate it from the tripod and then drop it to the ground. You could just like a dumb waiter going up and down to the ground level. That makes sense.
Yeah, that would be cool actually.